You looking for me, you can find me at the barbershop. Pulling up to get a cut, bumping through the parking lot. I keep it clean, Rico's where I'm running to. If you in the city, then you probably gonna be coming to. Gang getting down, Red's getting down, Nick getting down, Ron getting down. Just to name a few, everybody blade on point. You trying to get fresh, I'm telling you this the joint. Hands down, top shop up in this vicinity. Promises age 9, LaRon been getting me. Temper on the side, I'm trying to grow out the waves.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the K.O.S. Barber Club podcast, where we discuss the collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. And we do so by interviewing our guest and having him explain where the spark, I like to call it the spark, of consciousness came into play. So where did you develop a self-concept? How did you develop self-awareness? And then eventually came to knowledge of self. So today with me, I brought a really good friend of mine. I've known him through the good times, the bad times, and now we're here and we're winning and we're doing what we got to do. A man I respect greatly and a man that I've seen accomplish a lot of things, and a man that has gone from nothing to something a couple of times, which is another thing that I respect dearly. My good friend, Javier Hernandez.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the introduction, man.
That's my dog.
You, brother.
So, what's up, Javi?
Not much, bro.
How you been?
Doing good, man. Life is good. Like you said, man, just
Working?
Working and on a whole another mountaintop.
Another mountaintop. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, like you saw in the intro, I talked about the spark, like the spark of consciousness, like as a kid. I always like to start there because, you know, like that's how I remember my story, in the sense of, I remember when I was a kid, I smelled paint, and then that paint reminded me of my childhood now, because when I was a kid, I was like, what's that smell? Right. That was my first memory, like the furthest I could go. What's the furthest memory that you could go?
Wow.
That you were actually conscious, like you thought about it and you were like, okay, this is this, and then now you remember it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question, bro. My memory is not,
or your best memory as a kid.
What I would love it to be, but I do remember a lot of cool memories. You know, when I was growing up here in Little Havana, in Miami. You know, living in my grandmother's house. You know, getting bit by a little chihuahua around the corner.
Running away from the chihuahua.
Yeah, running away from chihuahua. But yeah, no, I just had good memories of growing up there, you know, family. Just, you know.
Just family and friends.
And you know, having fun 24s and drinking and partying, you know.
Drinking and partying. We'll get there.
Yeah, so, you know, just the, you know.
Yeah, just Latin, the beginning.
Latin, fun, you know, regular.
All right, so then,
life,
you were
you know?
a kid with family doing your thing. Then elementary school, obviously, in Kendall, right?
No, I actually went to elementary school over in Arbondale, started in Little Havana. Then I moved over to Joe Hall in towards Kendall, and then from there I stayed in that area.
So when you moved, how did that make you feel?
Good, man. I really thought we were kind of just moving up in life, you know.
So
we were living at my grandma's house, and we got our own house, so it was like a cool thing, you know. We moved into a nice neighborhood in Kendall with a nice house, had my own room, you know, got my first furniture and my own bed and all of that nonsense. So
how did that make you feel, though? Like,
good, man. No, good, amazing. I felt great. I felt like, we
on the come up.
Yeah, family was on the come up.
What is it? What's that show? The coming on up or moving on up. The Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons. Yeah.
You remember that? Old school days. So elementary school. In those days, did you know you were gonna cut hair? You're not gonna cut hair?
No, I had no clue. I was playing baseball, bro.
Baseball. So you had the dream every kid has.
Yeah. My parents had me in baseball. I was good at it. I was striving. What I thought was we're going for a baseball career. You know, they were like, "This is what you're doing. You're doing nothing else." And I was good at it. I was performing.
I mean, you're pretty much when you put your mind to something, I could see that you put your mind to something.
I think that was even before the thought of being able to put my mind to something and accomplishing it. I was just.
You still have no self-awareness, just living.
I was just living. I was just playing sports, and I was just, you know, I guess had enough little talent as a minor league there that I started thinking that I was, I was like, all right, I'm making these MVP teams, you know, and I'm the, you know, coaches actually want me to play on their team, so I started getting, you know.
Oh, so you started getting like
confidence. Feeling some confidence, you know, saying, man, I can do something here.
So that was middle school and elementary school.
Yeah.
All right, let's just fast forward to high school. That's when the real
fun,
identity crisis came into play.
Not really. I think honestly, Gene, I think same as you. I know a lot of your story. You know, I think a lot of that really started taking off in middle school, which was actually the sad part of it, right? That That
Why
stuff
is it
really.
sad?
No, I mean, because that's, it's a crucial part, I think, in life, especially now when you have kids and you start seeing, like, these, you see them in middle school and you see, and I think back, like, man, when I was her age, my daughter's age, the stuff that I was doing, she's not doing,
Of course not.
And it's that's what I say, the sad part, because I was growing up a lot faster than I really probably needed to or wanted to.
Yeah, it was the times, though, man. I didn't want to be stuck in the house. There was nothing to do.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know
but we started, messing around with weed.
Yeah.
In middle school.
Yeah.
Like, already started drinking.
Yeah.
Because it was
available.
It was available, yeah. And también, my parents were drinking. They would make it fun or cool to be like, oh, una cervecita,
Yeah, taste it.
taste a little beer,
No, me, it was, I used to help them pick up all the shot glasses. I'm Colombian, so it was aguardiente.
Of course.
And it's kind of nasty now that I think about it. But I grabbed all the shot glasses and I used to pour them all in one, and I used to take a shot. And I used to be like, oh, this is nasty. But then after the second one, I was having a great time at the party.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dancing with a tia. I was like, okay, let's dance with the tia. I was having a great time. I was partying. I was young. And I didn't know yet. But, yeah, you're right. It is kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, when you start looking at your kid's life and you're like, man.
I mean, it was less information, dude.
Yeah,
In that time, our parents, my mom didn't know nothing. My mom came from Colombia here. She didn't know what was going on. I could tell her anything I want. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to play basketball. She doesn't know.
Yeah, well, we had friends that didn't do it, though.
Correct.
I think a lot of it had to do with us, like who we were, our personality, our, striving for.
Okay, so let's dive into that.
Like,
what
experiment and find
what made
out.
you pass that fear factor of like, what?
I don't know. I think a lot of it early on was trying to fit in. I mean, I think about this about me. I'm dyslexic. I've always had trouble reading.
I think everybody's dyslexic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was dyslexic and I was also in special classes.
Yeah,
in school. So I got marched in a lot. I got put to the side. I got titled and put into special classes. So that made me feel at that point lesser than other kids.
So then once you pretty much numbed yourself with this.
Not that I numbed myself, but I wanted to fit in to normal kids. So if I saw somebody doing that, I'm like, man, that's an in. That's an in to be.
To be down.
To be down, right? And it worked.
It worked a lot until it stopped working.
Yeah, well, that's fast forwarding the story.
Yeah.
But it did work. It did make me fit in.
I remember when I started working with you, I was like, damn, Javi knows a lot of people, bro. And every time we would go party somewhere, it was like, Javi. I was like, yo, shit. Okay, Javi's the guy to know.
Yeah.
And we were partying. We were getting into clubs. We were doing whatever we wanted to, and it was fun. And then it's just, once you pass a certain age, it's not that much fun anymore. It starts being like a burden. And then you keep up doing it because you feel like, okay, this is what I used to do. Doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So middle school. Okay, so middle school. At that same time, you started cutting hair?
No, I didn't start cutting hair until high school.
So you were just playing baseball, hanging out with friends, smoking a little bud, chilling, having drinks here and there with the family.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so did you develop a self-awareness at that time? Or you were just breezing by life? Whatever came, and...
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, I don't know, if I was aware of, really.
No, you were just trying not to upset the parents.
Yeah.
Trying not to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So the self-concept came when high school, when you knew you were gonna play baseball.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, to me, I thought I was gonna go somewhere baseball. I even got. Other good high schools looking at me like Brito and stuff like that, and I got calls. I didn't have the grades. I didn't have the.
In high school, really?
No, I didn't have grades. Plus, when they found out I wasn't in regular classes.
Oh, they were like, you know what?
Yeah, like this is not gonna work out. Like once
That's messed up, man.
Yeah, they didn't have the programs in their schools to be able to bring in a kid. So, my GPA and all of that, they were like, yeah, that's not. I was probably just as talented as other athletes, maybe more talented, but
you didn't have the grades.
I didn't have the grades, and obviously, a lot of those top schools, their main thing.
Okay, so when you heard that, like, how did that hit?
Yeah, it wasn't the best feeling. I really felt like I had put a life already of.
Yeah, you had dreams.
Work into that, and I was like, it was crushing. It was crushing, but at the same time, I started cutting hair in the cuff of all of that. So it was kind of like transitioning from baseball, and I started cutting hair. So it was one of those decisions like, all right, I have this hair thing that I just started cutting at the shop. So all of that happened. Yeah, all of that kind of happened. I mean, we could probably, go back a little bit on how I got to cutting hair, like
of course,
shop and all that. But all of that happened kind of like simultaneously. So it hurt, but I was also like heading into that. So I was like, all right, maybe this is going to be a lifelong path where baseball is a dream.
Okay, so you had a self-awareness and you were like, I'm going to be a baseball player. That self-concept. Yeah. That didn't work out, so you had to rebuild. Yeah. And it seems like you do that a lot. From when I know you, you've always steered several ways, and then you rebuild, and then like rebuild. And I say that because I remember when we used to work together, then all of a sudden you bounced, and I was like, okay, well, Javi's doing something different. And then you rebuild it, and you made it happen again. Yeah,
well, I mean, again, I think we can get into the details of all that story, but if you don't mind me kind of leading.
Of course.
Just to tell you a little bit of the background of how I started even cutting hair.
Yes.
So I'm similar to yours. Again, I've heard, we've talked about this a lot of times, but I started cutting hair because we would all cut each other's hair in the backyard. It was like a two, number two all around.
This before there was a barbershop in every corner.
Yeah, it was like cut your hair with a 2 all around, Caesar cuts.
And then you started doing a little taper.
And then I was like, you know what, let's try this little fade thing. I hear about it in New York. You see that the rappers do it. So I was trying. So the fades weren't as clean back then. So we can get by, and that's how I started giving my first haircuts. And little by little, I was the only one.
And
doing
this was
that.
all backyard cuts.
Yeah,
right?
backyard, plastic chairs, sweating,
extension cords.
The whole
kids don't know what extension cords are anymore.
And that's how I started getting the cuts. And then I started getting confidence because I was
You're coming out nice.
No, I was the only one cutting hair.
So you got everybody coming
all out. My boys in the neighborhood.
This was what, 14, 15 years old?
15 years old, I would say. Yeah.
That's exactly when I started. Yeah. Nice. So then you started cutting out the crib, and then all of a sudden, I remember you had told me that you went to Father and Son.
Yeah, I went to Father and Son, yeah.
Okay, let's go there.
Yeah, so then from there, what happened was that I was using a machine. Yeah. The machine breaks. Okay. And now I can't.
You remember the machine?
Bro, I would probably want to say it's a wall, like Walmart wall. Like
the
box sets. The box sets.
Yeah.
I had a box set wall machine, probably $15, probably less at the time. And
which was still a lot.
Yeah, it was it was a decent little machine. But we actually had in the neighborhood we had an Oster machine with
the 76er?
Yeah, the 76er with some clips. So that friend would bring that over. So I had that and my other little wall machine. And the wall machine broke, so I couldn't do the fade. So I had started a fade on one side, but I couldn't finish the other side.
Did it break during this cut?
Yeah, during the cut. And it was on Max Garcia.
Oh, what's up, Max? I remember Max.
Yeah,
Max
I was cutting Max's hair, and we're like, yo, we got to finish this haircut. So we went to Father and Son to get the haircut taken care of. And I remember telling my mom, let me get $10. I got to pay for this because she's like, he's coming to get a haircut at our
you're
house.
Going to pay for it.
And I'm going to pay. She's like, nah, whatever. I convinced her, I think, to give me the $10. And so we went off. It was like a $9 cut. We went over there and they asked us. They're like, oh, who did the rest of the haircut?
So was there?
Yeah, okay. Max was like, yo, he did. And they were like, all right, finish it. And I was pooping my pants. I was like, oh my God.
You started sweating?
Yeah, sweating. I'm like,
for those that don't know, when Javi gets nervous, he starts sweating profusely. It's hilarious. And then you finished the cut.
Yeah, finished the cut, did the thing, and they were like, all right, cool, you start working tomorrow. And I was like, nah, I got a job at a pet shop. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
I can't.
And he's like, what? And then he told you how much you're going to get.
Yeah, he's like, bro, if you're gonna make like $200 a day.
Yeah.
A day.
And you're like, what?
I'm like, wow, I'm making $200 at the pet shop, And a week, I was making like $200 a week at the pet shop,
You make it a day.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So bro, I called the pet shop right there on the spot from the landline. I said, hey guys, I'm not going back. And basically just quit the job right there and bro, he was right. I came back, I believe the next day, so it was like a Sunday or something. Made, maybe I didn't make the $200, but I was up there.
You made money.
I was up there. I was like
money.
like 160, 175, and the rest is history, bro. Like there just started cutting hair, Father and Son.
Then the self-concept was built there, and the self-awareness was like, yeah, I'm good at this. I could do this. You got an opportunity. Yeah. What do you think would have happened if you wouldn't have gotten that machine wouldn't have broke?
I don't know.
Do you believe in
I don't know.
divine
I mean, you
intervention?
remember though, Gene, like I did have a lot of cool stuff going on. You know, I had the fashion design stuff going on.
Correct.
I did have a scholarship through high school that I went to. I won competitions. I won national competitions with fashion design.
Wow.
I got full ride here to IFAC down the block, and you know, I also had that going on simultaneously to this whole haircutting thing. So I also had, you know,
You had opportunity.
I had opportunities with that. Sometimes I would say, you know, like, I mean, I've had an amazing hair career, you know, and I've been able to do so many cool things because of it, you know, and feed families, my family, other families. But maybe I would have been in a better place. I don't know. You know, I mean, it was God's will at the end of the day.
Correct.
It was God's will. I am right where I need to be. But, you know, there was definitely opportunities. And hair might have gotten me comfortable. You know, in many ways, because we were making money, dude. We were making $200 a day at 15, 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And you know, you take home a good amount of money. I mean, it wasn't chump change, and things were cheaper at that time. So, you know,
way cheaper, dude.
Yeah, we were taking money.
Yeah, we were throwing money away, man.
Of course. Yeah.
I used to spend $200-$300 a day on just dumb shit.
Right.
Like it was like, now that I think of it, I was like, bro, if I would have invested in, I would have been chilling right now. But of course, we didn't have guidance. Yeah. And that's what this podcast is about, to kind of give people self-awareness and show, like, okay, where did we have that turn of events that led us to where we're at? Right. But it's cool that you said that you had all these opportunities, because now we could talk about that incident. Like, okay, now I had several things to do. What made you go towards, okay, I'm going to do hair?
Well, again, another one of those unfortunate schooling situations. You know, where again, the school, they went from a non-accredited college. It was just, IFAC at the time was a vocational college. It wasn't completely accredited yet. And my first year on my scholarship, they became accredited.
So you had to take the test.
So I had to take tests and start taking all this stuff. And then they're like, all right, you got to take science, you got to take math and all of that. And
you're like, nah.
No, it's not that I was willing, but I wasn't passing the classes.
Yeah, you were
they
like,
called me down, and they're like, look, you know, in order to maintain your scholarship,
you got to keep a GPA.
You got to keep a certain GPA. And I go, it's not that I don't want to. And again, looking back, hindsight, obviously I should have been like, I need tutors. I should have really pressed for the dream.
Yeah.
But I got frustrated more than anything. Yeah. I got frustrated, and I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm just gonna go cut hair. I'm good at it. I don't need anything. Let's go.
Man, the way I see it, man, is like divine intervention. I believe in that, because I believe, like I tell my girl all the time, I'm like, things happen for a reason. You might not understand it. And now that you're Christian, you understand it more, right? Of course, no. But back in it, like, you know me, I've always been like I'm just free. I don't really have any chains or anything like that. But I felt and I understand that, okay, if this happens, it's for a reason. Yeah. If something gets pushed out of my way, it's for a reason. If something comes to me and it's easy, okay, maybe it's for a reason. Yeah. What I need to understand is, okay, the machine broke. You got pushed to the haircut thing. Yeah. Then you went to go do the fashion. The school broke. And now you have to go to the... So I personally think that it was meant for you to do this.
I know, I agree 100%. I mean, we're going 100%. Through the story. We're going through the story, and like, you know, exactly. It's, you know, God has a plan for our lives, and you know, we have a plan for our own lives. Yeah, the source is telling you,
this is what I need you to be, so I can accomplish these things. And through us, that we're barbers and we influence people, believe it or not, we do, man.
Oh no, it's been. I mean, again, I'm gonna say it again. Like, we've been blessed. I've been blessed.
With a skill set and also a mentality.
Yeah.
And not
only to provide for my family, but to help other families get provided for.
You helped me out, because remember, I was in Ace of Fades.
Right.
And that whole mess. And then Kevin, rest in peace, my brother, he was like, yo, come work with me and Javi, man. This guy's the best. And I'm like, what? He's like, bro, don't even think about it, Gene. Come here. And I was like, okay. I went to Choppers, and I was like, all right, now I feel at home. And the rest of his history from there. And then, like I said, something broke in my life in order to go over there and fix it. And I feel like it was all meant to be, man. Yeah, that's true. And now we're sitting here discussing it, 20 years later?
20,
Damn.
20 plus years.
That is nuts, bro. Yeah. All right, so let's keep going. So the school didn't work out. You say, I'm going to cut hair now. When did you decide to purchase a shop?
Well, so I worked for Father and Son. You know, shout out to them. I mean, Father and Son was, you know, essential, like a key for me to become the barber that I became. Like the guys in there, they took me in. They taught me how to use scissors. They taught me how to fade. One guy threw away, Camacho, credit to Camacho. He threw away all my machines and bought me all brand new ones out of his pocket. The owners were super gracious with me. I mean, you know, they taught me everything, everything that I know about cutting hair to this day. I give credit to them because they were like.
Were they doing machine over comb at that time?
Yeah, they taught me everything that we do now. They were doing.
Yeah.
And more. I mean, they were cutting edge.
Nice.
In that time.
Yeah, because machine over comb, first person I saw do it was you.
Yeah, Camacho. I mean, he still cuts hair.
Word.
Like like nobody's business. That guy's fades and it's just he's a clean.
And
clean
where's
barber.
he's still cutting?
I think he's in Tampa now.
Oh, he moved up there.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, I think he's in Tampa. But yeah, those guys. I mean, they taught me how to start doing scissors over comb. They taught me about the magic clip. You know, the little my fade clip that I always use. Clip. Yeah. And
but those clips were hard to find back in the days. If you had
now
it,
they're hard to find again.
How
they've become? Oh, I mean, I guess you can eBay them or whatever. Yeah.
But back in our days, there was no eBay, no YouTube, no nothing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I saw Javi do machine over comb. I'm like, what is that? And you're like, what do you mean? You just take it off. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Speed up the process.
Yeah, if people don't know, Javi could do a haircut like in 5.5 minutes, and that's if he takes a break in between.
Not lying,
but. Okay, so yeah.
So Father and Son just got me. I worked for them for, it feels like longer, but 2-3 years. You know, back then, I don't know. I just felt like longer.
When you're a kid, everything is longer.
Yeah, so I remember working for them off of 137 in Bird, and then and Bird Road, and then we moved to where the Palace movie theater is, opened that shop, and I felt like we worked there forever. It was me, Kevin, Edgar worked there. So a couple of the guys got their shots there, and
that's where everything spawned from.
Yeah, Father and Son was the breeding ground for many good barbers.
And there's still barbers to this day. No, what was his name? The one that used to come around and say what's up to you guys. Tall guy, light skin. That he would pop up in the shop all the time and say what's up.
I don't remember right now. Okay, but it'll come to me.
But I think he worked with
of course, yeah.
That he would come, hey, what's up, guys? A young guy, and I was like, oh, he has light eyes.
John, yeah. John worked there, yeah. So yeah, from there, one day, this guy comes into the shop and is trying to sell a barbershop that he was building, but he had no clue what he was doing.
Okay.
So he was paying the rent and finished halfway building this barbershop and came to sell it to the owner. And I go, hey, I'll take it. Let's go half on this business, and I'll just run with the name Father and Son.
So what made you aware to think of this?
I was just cutting hair. I was living at the beach already by this time.
Okay.
I was
you're by Collins, right?
Yeah, I was living on. I had already moved to 3rd and Collins. Yeah.
You tell that to people now, and they're like, "Damn, he's balling."
At 17 years old,
that was 97.
Yeah,
that was a totally different.
Yeah, I was paying. I don't know, like $600, but the building was about to get condemned.
That's what people don't understand. I tell people this. I grew up on the beach. They look at me like, "Wow, that's awesome." Yeah. I'm like, "Nah, man.
Yeah,
the beach wasn't like how you see it now. The beach back in the days was grimy." And so when you tell people I lived in 3rd and whatever Collins, people think it's like luxury. It's like, no, that wasn't that.
It was actually 3rd and Euclid.
It's even worse.
Yeah, 3rd and Euclid. It was worse. Yeah, Collins was a step up.
Yeah,
I moved after to 3rd and Washington. It was like 3 blocks. It was a huge step up.
Big because there they actually fixed their surrounding.
Yeah.
People didn't understand that, man. But it's great now, but it's too expensive and it's not the same beach. Man. Yeah, every time I go there, I'm like, this is not the same.
It's not at all.
I'd rather go somewhere else. So all right, so you bought the shop from the guy.
What got me even thinking about opening a shop and all that was just the amount of hair that I was cutting. You did the math in your head, right? Like, I was cutting a lot of hair. I did have some influence. My dad had his own furniture company. My mom was working in the bank. So I did have a little bit of business influence.
Did you consult with them to do it or no?
Well, at the time, no. I mean, again, this could be a really long podcast if we get into all of that. But my parents got divorced. They were heading in their own directions. And I wouldn't say I did or didn't consult with them, but it wasn't at that moment in life. It wasn't like
you knew what you had to do.
I just felt like, all right, I want to get up. Yeah, I want to get up. I want to move forward in life, and
this is the way.
Yeah, we were saving money at the time to buy a house or an apartment at the beach, and you know, I told Masi, hey, this opportunity, you know, me and Masi were already together.
Yeah.
You know, so I told her, man, this is an opportunity. Kind of, you know, she's always supported all my endeavors and anything that I've ever kind of wanted to accomplish.
To get into.
Yeah. So she's like, if you really feel like it's a thing, then
do it.
Let's do it. You know, like. But remember, we're leaving this house thing on the line, you know, and I remember, you know, like scavenging up, you know, a couple of chips. My cousin Orly.
How much was it at that time?
It was like $20,000.
That's it.
Yeah, it was like $20,000.
You can't even buy a car that money nowadays. It's crazy.
Okay. It was like $27,000. But and I brought Orly into it. You know, we just got our chips together, and you know, and maybe I asked my grandmother for like a little personal loan,
something,
you know, and ended up basically, you know, the guys at Father and Son didn't want to
let you go.
No, they didn't want to join forces. To open.
So you wanted?
I really wanted to do it with them in honor of them. This is my side of the story, right? Like I really wanted to do it with them because I learned everything from them. And
what do you mean just do it with them? Like
same
up. Name,
yeah,
like
same
Father
name.
and Son too?
Yeah, like partner up with them and just keep running with Father and Son.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I think, you know, I'll say that out loud here, but I think that was like they didn't see the vision at the time, you know, and they didn't say yes.
Exactly. That's the self-awareness that I talk about in the podcast. Like the intuition, something had to tell you, do this.
Yeah. It was. I mean,
and
again,
that's what we're trying to give people.
Honestly, Gene, I think I felt what gave me the go for it attitude was, all right, I have nothing to lose here, you know.
Okay.
All of those other dreams that I had gone for.
So you already experienced loss.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I gotta go.
Worst case scenario, I come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cutting hair. Like, I'm gonna cut hair. If I have to come back to Father and Son, but I'm like, you know, like this could be an opportunity.
Yeah.
For me to
advance.
Get somewhere, advance in life, you know. So I think it was that like I gotta go for it attitude, you know.
No
like,
fear.
Yeah, I had to just.
Everybody says that, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody that sat here, I asked them, what was it? Like, I don't know. I just said, let's go.
Let's go, yeah.
And I was like, there's no fears. No, there was a lot of fear.
Oh.
And a lot of doubt, but I was like, let's ride.
Yeah, there was, I felt like I had no other option if I wanted to.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah, have my own shop.
In that shop, you're just going to be cutting and giving
hair,
people.
Which I was doing great, but I felt
yeah, but you're not.
There was more.
Yours.
There was more. And they said no. They said no. And I go, you know what? I got the money together and I told them, hey, I'm going to go open my own shop. You guys don't want to do this with me. And I did it. And
How did they take it? They didn't like it?
No, they didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. I mean, I was one of the number one producers at the shop. And obviously, they probably knew at the time that it could cause division in the barbershop because.
Yeah, you're with your boys and now Kevin, which it did happen.
Of course, and I didn't try to take anybody from there.
Kevin left to Ace of
somewhere
Fades,
else.
and that's where I met Kevin.
Yeah, so
divine intervention.
I went and worked there by myself with no barbers except for this one kid that he really didn't know how to cut hair. So I was there. I would say the better half of 1 year.
Dolo?
By myself and no barbers, stressing out because I had paying the rent by myself. I was doing everything by myself.
Did you ever think like, yo, forget this, I'm gonna sell it?
I don't remember.
No?
I don't remember if I thought that or not. But
it was
it was one of those like where Edgar got into some type of situation over there. Edgar comes over.
Edgar never gets in situations with nobody.
But remember, he was going through his rough times. Yeah. I thought you were being serious. So he got into some type of fight with somebody over there. And he comes over, and that's it. Like, I saw the light, because at least with Edgar, me and Edgar, like, all right, at least I have one barber that's responsible that we can take in clients here.
Yeah, an elite barber.
Yeah, and we're both young, and Edgar was ready to cut,
correct,
eager,
yeah,
and was fresh. It was like a fresh neighborhood. No one had really tapped into Westchester.
There wasn't no shop. I mean, there was that one $5 cut.
Yeah, there was good barbershops in the area, but there was nothing like us, like painted floor, PlayStations, foosball.
That was the first shop I saw with the air hose.
With the air hoses. No one was doing that in Westchester, so I was like, all right, we're breaking ground here, like I knew it was bound to take off, and so once I had Edgar, I was like, all right, I got wind under my wings, and I was like, all right, let's go. And then from there, obviously the story. Then Kev
came.
Then Kev came. Then I don't remember who was next, but I know you were short after that.
Yeah, Kevin left Ace of Fades, and like less than a month later, I was like calling him. I was like, "Yo, dog, where you cutting?" And he's like, "Bro, I'm with my boy Javi's the best shop in Miami. You gotta come here." And I'm like, "All right, Kev, I'm coming."
Yeah, that's when that shop
That's when we boomed.
Yeah, that shop was.
I remember open to close, nothing stops. Those are the good old days. In the sense that I think it was good that we didn't know what we had, because in that sense we just enjoyed it.
Yeah. You know what I felt like during that time. You know, like when you finally get your first apartment by yourself.
Oh,
you know, like in say you're away from the parents. I felt like that was us.
Liberation.
You know? Yeah, I felt like that was us. Like we finally got
more elderly people saying nothing.
Yeah, we were booming the hip hop.
Bro, we had a ping pong table in the middle of the shop.
Yeah, a ping pong table. I mean, we were just going off.
That was fun. Yeah. That was fun times, and we cut a lot of people, and we made a lot of connections. We did a lot of good, and everything that spawned from there is awesome, man. Yeah, it was. So okay, so that you were what at that age? You were 23, 24?
I was in my 20s, yeah, for sure.
20s, and you're How did you understand what the next move would be, or you didn't know what the next move was going to be,
bro? I mean, during that time, Gene, I mean, there you know the story just as good as me. I mean, we were just living, bro. I mean, during that time, we were just living. I mean, you know. I mean, unfortunately, we were doing one day at a time without knowing it. You know,
I was doing one day at a time, but remember, I was going to school.
You were doing,
I was doing my thing, and I was the opposite of you. Like, I got in trouble because I didn't go to school, but I was like, yo, I'm going to class. I'm taking these tests. I'm passing. Oh, yeah, but you have to be there for the teacher to teach. I'm like, dude, I don't need to learn from the teacher. I'll just read this book. And then I realized that school was not something I liked, man. So I was like, man, I don't like this. But I like cutting hair. Mm-hmm. But then society, parents, friends, they're all like, oh, you're going to school. That's good to accomplish something. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, this doesn't feel right to me. But pressure was there. Yeah. So when we started cutting hair and we started making money, I was like, okay, I see the light now. Mm-hmm. And what made me decide to like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Forget about school. I had to finish school because I promised my grandma. But what made me stop, like, even thinking about corporate life was intuition. Yeah. Like, dude, I was in a car going to go work. Remember when I used to come at 6 and cut from 6 to 10? I used to go work in an office.
Yeah, I remember, of course.
8 to 5.
I remember, of course.
And I would hate it. And then when I would cut 6 to 10, I'll fucking have the best time ever. That these guys used to get mad at me because I wouldn't stop talking because I'm in an office that I can't talk. And then when I get to the shop, I'm like, yo, what's up?
I remember thinking, I wish this guy would work here all day.
I mean, I wish I would have.
Sort of thinking that, you know, sometimes I didn't want you to work here all day, but.
It all depends on the situation at hand, because sometimes I'll go in there, I'm not in the right mindset, I guess you could say.
But I do remember thinking, because you would help out big time.
Yeah,
like, especially when we had a bunch of walk-ins and it would be like just us and we had a bunch of people waiting. I was like, man, I wish Gene would just drop that job and come cut hair over here.
And it did happen, man. Yeah. One day I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this no more, man. I'm just going to cut hair full time. And then it worked out. Until this day, I don't regret it. Yeah. And that's what I started this podcast because I wanted to do that. Give people self-awareness. Yeah. Some people don't have it or do have it and they're afraid. Yeah. So if we tell our tale and we tell them, listen, this is how we did it. They could either pick from our brain, our experiences, and adapt, or they could say, nah, man, that's not it, and then they go about their ways. But either way, we're still giving gems.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point, Gene, because, you know, again, we're going back and forth and jumping a lot of places, but, you know, kind of like the moral of the story of where I think you're headed is like, here I am, a kid that was struggling in school, you know, dyslexia, special classes, on paper, really, you would not probably say that I was going to be the next business guy, the first guy to open his own business, the first guy to buy his own house. You were not going to, on paper, you were not going to say that was going to be me, right?
No.
And you know, and God had other plans. You know, I was able to do all of that. So to your point, I think their encouragement is, you know, like a lot of times, you know, if you have that intuition, they say, you know what, like, have that nudge to open this business or to follow this career and all, you know, and like just go for it, right? Because look at both of our stories, you know, we tried going into fashion, we tried going into here, but in the struggle of all of that, you know, we found our way, and you know, sitting on our hands for us was not going to work out because
sometimes I think I'm surprised I'm still here. You feel me? The things that I experienced and the things that I went to places that like shouldn't be here right now.
No,
you know. So
that's a whole nother conversation.
I feel that if you follow that intuition, I think that's like the nudge that you get from life or the universe or the creator, whatever you want to call it, to go. So if you're watching this and you have a feeling inside and you want to do it, don't worry about what's gonna happen, man. Just do what you gotta do and keep moving and be a good person, be righteous, and everything will work out.
That's good.
And then from Choppers, you left because I know you went through a little bit of turmoil.
So the story there is, Choppers. We were doing what we were doing, right? We were
balling.
We were making a lot of good money. We were, like you said, we were making, but we were partying really hard, really hard.
Really hard.
Yeah, 24/7. I got to the point that,
No, we were partying in the shop. While cutting hair.
While cutting hair, we would go out, come right back and keep partying.
That's crazy.
And those just sometimes would never end for days and days and days. And I think part of that got me frustrated because somewhere inside of me, I wanted things to be different at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And
to
be able to try to control you guys. Like, I have, like a bunch of like animals really, that I'm trying to corral while I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing, so like it became overwhelming.
Yeah.
After, man, I don't remember that
5-6 years.
It might have even been closer to 8, but I'm not. I would need Masi for the precise.
Yeah,
years.
She remembers more.
Yeah, but we were there for a little while, and I got, I think I got frustrated and overwhelmed with the business, even though there was really nothing happening, but that we were just losing it.
Okay.
And but once I sold it, I realized,
damn.
Not even damn. I was like, all right. It was a lot of it was self-imposed. Like I was so in the meat and potatoes that I never took a step back to be like, all right, this is okay.
Okay.
This is not as bad as I'm thinking. I've just got to stop drinking and drugging every day, and but I couldn't do it. Yeah, but I couldn't do it. I was so addicted to what we were doing.
Yeah.
And partying, and my head was not in the business. My head was in what we were going to do after we got out of this business.
Correct.
So it's hard to keep a business.
Yeah, at that time you had your crib, you had more things to like focus on.
Yeah, and I had achieved something, in my head.
Yeah, right?
I felt
and
like
I got a house, I got a car, I got everything, and then you feel empty. Like, there's more to this. There's more to this.
So I made a decision one day. I was super frustrated, God knows, probably, after days of partying. I told the wifey, I'm selling this place. She agreed because she felt, I'm speaking for her, but she probably felt like this might be a good thing to like ease,
shift.
And ease the stress and the amount of locura that we were doing. And I even look back and I'm like, man, how blessed were we that clients just kept coming, bro, we smelled like God knows. It's like, and through all of that.
I still have those clients, man, and they remind me all the time, like, man, this is a big change. I'm like, yeah, man, you got to evolve. You can't stay stuck. Yeah, but it wasn't a normal thing. Like, no, people weren't doing that, though.
No, but we were good at what we did, though.
That's exactly what I'm trying to get at. Like people will go to work and they'll be like struggling to cut, or damn, when nobody's coming in. We were like, it was a revolving door, and we were just like ching, 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 out, like come in, and all of us were nice. Yeah. And I use this when I have meetings with the shop, and I'm like, yo, you guys don't know how good you could have it. Yeah. You have a beautiful shop, you have everything working, you don't need to worry about nothing. All you gotta do is focus on yourself. Cutting hair, yeah. And then they're like, yeah, but I'm like, dude, just concentrate on cutting hair and be the best person that you could be, and you're good. Yeah, yeah. But they want everything fast. I think we got it fast because, like you said, we were really good at what we did. We had
the talent.
And we learned from each other, and it was nuts. Like, if you think of, like, the dream team in the NBA, that's what it was. Pretty much everybody had a full book all day, and then we had people walking in.
Yeah, everybody that left that barbershop is a successful barber.
To this day. Yeah, I had Roddy here the other day, so and he was talking about
everybody that left there. I don't know if Roddy worked for me, though. I think Roddy worked for Laz.
Oh, man, we all worked for you, bro.
But so I sold the shop to Laz, and I stayed working there because, again, it was I think out of frustration.
Yeah, no, when you left, everything shifted.
But I hadn't left yet. I stayed working there for a while for Laz.
Yeah, but like I'm fast forwarding. Once you left, it was like
the reason why though was I didn't leave because I wanted to leave. I left because I couldn't. No. I was drinking and drugging so much. You left before me.
I did?
You left before me, yeah, Gene. You left before me, and then I completely lost it.
Because what I remember is that you said, yo, I'm going to go I sold the shop, and I said, okay. And then you said, yo, I'm going to go work at another shop.
No, I stayed working with you guys. But it was me, Laz, Roddy, you, Kevin, Edgar. We had another amazing team, right? We just added, basically what ended up happening was that we added Laz.
And Mike.
And Mike. We added Laz, Mike, and Roddy, and then the team that we already had there. And the shop was even
better.
Crazier, because I don't know how we all fit in there. But, to put it context to it, the shop was like 700 square feet, and we had 8 of the busiest barbers in all of Miami at the time cutting hair in one place.
And a ping pong table in the middle.
And the ping pong table in the middle, yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah, so I didn't leave. No, I stayed cutting hair there with Laz. I don't know why I feel like you left before me, but the reason why I left was because when I ended up leaving was because I got Baker acted, dude. I got Baker acted. I was gone. Yeah. I was gone. I was barely cutting hair at the time,
And that was because of
consciously
the lifestyle. That was
I had, I call it now falling uphill. I had fallen uphill 2 times.
That's cool. I like that.
I had fallen uphill 2 times, and then the crash down this time was just, it was
straight down.
It was straight down. Like I had lost my house at this point. I had sold the business. I was living at Homestead, like in some shack. I was in and out of my in-laws. Everything exploded. It
was shattering.
No, shattered. Collapsed. Yeah, like my marriage was hanging on by a thread. It was ugly times, bro. It was ugly times. Dude, Kevin passes from the stuff that we were doing, like it was like serious. We were during that time. You, me, Kevin, and a lot of other guys around us, we were
lost.
Yeah, we were doing heavy stuff, man, for a really long time with no breaks
at all.
So yeah, it was, and for me personally, it really got dark. It really got dark to the point where, kind of gets me emotional, but to the point that, man, one day I couldn't no more, dude. I really couldn't no more. I remember going to the therapist, because I always like saying this part of the story, because the drugs and alcohol stopped working, bro.
Yeah.
They stopped working, you know? And I was like, man, I was drinking and drugging, and it was not doing anything to me.
It was making it worse.
No, I wasn't feeling anything, so I felt, right?
Numb.
No, so if I keep doing this, I'm going to die today.
Holy shit. Okay.
I'm going to die. If I keep drinking and drugging to find what I normally get out of this, I'm going to end up ODing, because I had already put down a bottle of tequila plus. I had been on other substances, right?
Yeah, man. Our tolerance was insane.
Right, and that day I got scared that day, and I remember calling the therapist, and my wife had helped find this therapist, and we were going through our journey in trying to crawl out of this massive hole that we had dug, and yeah, it was dark, and then so yeah, that's where the shift happened for what's going on today.
When you say shift, a conscious shift or emotional shift, or just
my story was the God shift, because I ended up getting Baker acted. That whole little story, long story short, is I ended up getting Baker acted. The therapist suggested, hey, if you want to start, do you want to die? Do you want to kill yourself? You want to hurt yourself?
Wow.
And my answer was like, yes, and in several ways. Not only do I feel like just dying,
you want this to end already,
but if I don't want to feel like this anymore,
correct?
And if I keep doing what I'm doing today, I'm gonna die. So
it's inevitable.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, cool. This is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna call a rescue. They're gonna get here. They're gonna take you. And I was like, man, I was just as calm as it's there, because I really honestly felt like I was done, dude. I just couldn't live like that anymore, dude. Like I was just
remember, I got put away, man. I was in that cell, and once all the noise stops, like the whole moving around, okay, go to this cell, go here. Then once you realize, okay, I'm in here, and the next day is I'm gonna be here, and then a month later I'm still here.
Yeah,
that's what got me like, yo, I can't do what I was doing. Right. So it was a blessing in disguise. Right. So maybe that therapy and that therapist was a blessing in disguise.
No, it was that's God started working. I say my in-laws were praying. They were praying for us because we were lost.
Correct.
So those are the prayers that got answered. You know, so I get to the Baker, I got Baker acted. And for some reason or another, after being there for a couple days or I don't remember the exact, I was in a fog. I just remember thinking to myself, I'm sober, but I hate how I feel. I've been off drugs. They cleaned me out. I'm good.
Yeah.
But I hate how I'm feeling. So I was so done. I just got on my knees and I said, God, if you're real, help me.
Yeah, I don't want to leave. I heard the story.
I don't want to leave this place feeling like this.
Something familiar happened to me, man. I was locked up and it was already like a month or two and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, this sucks. I got to do something, man. Like, what am I going to do? I really thought I was going to get sent to Colombia and I was going to start new. So I asked, I asked the creator, I was like, yo, man, if you could help me understand what's going on better, I would appreciate that. Because, like, I wasn't a guy that would pray. I would just pretty much listen to myself, talk to myself. And I always say that I have this little voice that is not my voice, bro. I mean, I'm obviously thinking, but, like, what gets told to me, sometimes I'm like, what? And then I started listening to that little voice. And that same day, some M13 guy all tatted up, he goes, hey, man, you want? And he threw me a Bible. I was like, what? He's like, you want one? I got another one. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, this guy just threw me a Bible.
Yeah.
So I started reading, and I read it, and I didn't understand it. So I'm like, bro, maybe I'm doing this wrong. And then I started reading it again. Yeah. And I guess the guy that does the Bible study in the jail, he saw me.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you want to come with us to the Bible study thing? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
And then I started understanding. Because I would ask questions. So once I started understanding everything, I was like, yo, things happen for a reason, Yeah. And then he started telling me stories. I forget now what stories he told me, but he started telling me stories of, like, in the Bible, people that fallen and risen and come back and things happen. So I started getting a better understanding. So I'm like, yo, if I get out of this, I'm not going to waste a day. Yeah. And ever since that day, I haven't wasted a day. And that's when I got back to you guys. I was like, yo, what's up? Yeah. I was kind of partying still, but I was not the same.
Yeah.
Especially with my son. When I had Saba, it was like, boom. And then when I had my daughter, totally shifted.
Yeah, I think, I mean, again, I don't remember exactly, but I think you had taken off with the Spa Barbershop or something.
No, I took off with the Spa Barbershop because my friend Robert, he was investing in it.
Right, but I think that's what I'm saying. I think you had left with them, and that's when all of my story happened.
Correct.
Yeah, you had taken off with that already.
I left because, like I said, if I get out of this, I gotta.
For me, it's been 9 years since I've been sober.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been with the Spot?
The Spotter was 2018, so less than that. No, because I remember you left, and then you started working at another shop, and I went to visit you.
So maybe that was. So I got out of all of that nonsense. I come back to the shop. I maybe you were there. I tried to work. That's when I left because I tried to work and I was sober.
And we were going crazy.
And
I remember that part.
You guys were still going crazy. And
yeah, because I remember having a conversation with Kevin.
Yeah.
Because I was telling him, like, yo, Kevin, you gotta stop though. Like, you gotta, and he's like, bro, why? I'm like, bro, we gotta try to not influence Javi.
Yeah. So I came back from all of that, and I mean, thanks to my wife, she had, while I wasn't there, she was like, calling places, moving, doing everything that she could in order to set, like the table for when I got out of there. I started going to AA and all of that. So I don't remember exactly how long I was out of cutting hair, but it felt like forever because we were cutting hair every day. But It probably wasn't that long. It was probably, a few weeks. But I remember coming back. I was starting to go to AA. I had, I was kind of hearing different, a little bit different when I walked into there. And I was like, man, I felt like this pressure of like everything that I had left behind, and I was like, it just dawned on me, like, I can't be here. I just can't be here. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just can't be here. And at that moment, I was like...
At the AA or the shop?
At the shop. When I started cutting hair. And
because you were going to AA, that's right. I remember you would leave early.
And I remember I was going... They had me in South Miami Hospital at the rehab center. So I started hearing a lot about God there, and I started hearing, just different things, right, that were helping me. And when I went back to the shop, I mean...
we weren't living...
But not that it made a difference, but I just couldn't be there. I just could not be there.
I understand it, 100%.
And so then I just said, you know what? Like, I started looking, and I found that barbershop next to the McDonald's in front of Tropical Park. And I just told the old man, I didn't have my license at the time. I had lost my license. Like, I was a mess. Yeah. And I told the guy, trust me, give me the opportunity. You've never seen anything like this. That was my entrance speech. You've never seen anything like this. And he's like, what are you talking about? This old guy. And I go, oh yeah, I don't have my license. I don't have nothing, but
give me the chance.
Just give me the chance. You've never seen someone cut more hair than I will. And the time that I am here, I will make more money for you than anybody that has ever worked in this barbershop.
Self-awareness.
You know, and he looked at me like,
dale,
whatever, bro. Like he was very doubtful. But when I started cutting hair, it was off to the races.
It wasn't the same, man. When you left, the atmosphere was just.
But I think a lot of it, not only me though, Gene. I think we were all just hitting that same spot. You know, like when we were all just crashing into the wall, like at high speed. Mikey came after me to that shop, you know, and you know, I don't know exactly where, you know, his journey took him, but I know that Mikey came after, and you know, and
he had an incident with Laz,
right? But it was you know, all of us colliding, because I think if we were all sober, it would have been a different story today, right? But
way different story.
We weren't, because we could have.
That's not the path we had to take.
No, we are what we are, and
it's meant to be.
Yeah, it's meant to. It's I'm okay with the story.
I'm happy, man.
I'm okay with the story, but the reality is that it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need to be that way. Like it like I always like to say, like, we're not glorifying this in any way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been something else. It really could have.
It could have been. It did get tragic because we lost a good friend with Kevin.
Not only did we lose a good friend, we probably lost a lot of really good opportunity to do business together, to have, you know, like I really, you know, and again, I'm happy with where we all are in life, but I really feel like at some point, like, we were all in a place where we could still be in business. We could still be in business together. We, you know, like, I think, you know, we missed an opportunity and a thing where we were too lost.
We still got more life ahead.
No,
of us,
of course,
way
everything.
more life ahead.
And then I agree with you. You know, God has plans for us, but at the time, you know, you look back and, man, we left.
We weren't thinking.
Right?
We were numbing ourselves. We were pretending to be happy. That's how I like to think of it, because I was, when I was thinking and I was locked up, I was like, bro, I didn't think about the party.
Yeah.
I didn't think about anything that I thought was fun, all I thought about was just like being free. Yeah. And for me to be free, that's it. I won. Yeah. So every day I wake up now, like, my daughter gets upset because I wake up and I'm all happy and I start like messing around. You know how I am. And then she's like, Dad, stop. Oh, you're always so happy. I'm like, yeah, because I'm free and I'm woken from this dream that I used to have that was dark, and now I'm good. And then she's like, but I got to go to school. I'm like,
It's funny because I always, this thing now is like, I used to think I was free when I wasn't following any of the rules.
Exactly.
And I was more imprisoned than I am today, that I'm actually following some.
Well, you know that they say that discipline
is freedom.
Discipline is freedom in disguise.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, that's it. And it's really the truth today. You know, like,
you don't have to worry about anything. You just follow the guidelines. And like, I always tell people, like, 10 Commandments, bro. You follow those things. It's like a cheat sheet. Follow those things and you'll be good in life, because it makes you a good person, and it makes you a person of value. Like, if you can't bring value to any situation, and I'm not talking about bringing drugs and bringing hookups, nah, that's not value. That's just bad. But like, bringing a value of, like, maybe the word. I'm sure. How many people have you talked about and you brought to church with you and changed?
Church and AA, and no, what God is doing in my life today, Gene, is.
So we were meant to go through all that stuff, man.
No,
I don't think it's anything
I
that.
I mean, I just, like, you know, it's we're having a conversation. It was on my mind. You know, it's always on my mind. Like, not that I look back to say wish it could have, would have been a certain way.
I mean, that's normal.
But we're having a conversation, and I would have loved it. You know, if we could have done something more. You know, than we left. I think we
left a lot of things on the table,
and it's because we were so caught up in that other disaster and the mess, you know, that we couldn't see past that, you know. We didn't see the friendship and all of that we really did have, you know, and
the glory days.
Yeah, we didn't take advantage of it at the moment, you know, because we were caught up in the lie. We were caught up in the lie that we were doing the right thing when we were doing the opposite.
I don't think we were thinking of doing the right thing. I think we were just trying to survive, and then survival turned into a party, and then the party never stopped until the brakes locked.
Yeah. So then, man. So then I started working at that shop, and I started getting sober, and I started my journey with sobriety, and you know, just life started taking on a whole new meaning. You know, like I started really
a new self concept.
Yeah, it's when God really started. You know, I you know that cliche thing. You know, you turn the wheel. You give God the wheel finally. You know, and I think that was my moment of like I gave God the wheel. You know, and I said, God, you know, like
take me where I need to be.
Take me, do what only you could do, because when I'm in control, when I'm driving the car, I'm going straight into walls.
Wow.
So I can't keep driving this car. So I turned that over, and you know, I started praying every day.
So you became more self-aware of what you needed to do, and how you needed to do it in order to get to it.
And I think a good way to put it, Gene, is I knew the stuff that I was good at, right? I knew some of the stuff that I was good at, and I did know a lot of the stuff that I wasn't good at. So at that time, my best thought was like, I'm gonna do what I'm good at, and I'm gonna give God what I'm not good at.
Okay.
You know, and I said, God, you know, I can cut hair, and I have good work ethic, and I could do a lot of these things, and I'm gonna do those, but I don't know how to stay sober. I don't know how to, you know, the many things that I just didn't know how to do at the moment, right? Okay. And I said, God, I'm giving you this, and I'm gonna do my part.
Do you think the conversation with God is what made the shift in your mind and your life?
Well, I mean, I believe today that from, you know, when you start having a relationship with God and you allow God into your heart, he starts doing miracles in your life. I mean, the thing is that I had never stopped doing drugs in my life, no matter what. I didn't know how to. I couldn't.
It was a daily thing. It was
a normal
everything,
thing, right? I tried just about everything to stop, and I could never stop. And from one day to the next, I stopped miraculously. Like, there has to be a God, because I asked him, help me stay sober, and he did. I didn't think about drinking or not drinking when I couldn't stop thinking about drinking.
Wow.
So like, it was really like,
it was the proof.
It was a line in the sand. Like, I really woke up and I was like, I don't feel like drinking or drugging. You know, not that my life got instantly amazing.
No, that was the first step.
But
that was the hardest part.
I didn't have to drink again. You know, I was able to, you know, walk into a party or this or do anything in life.
Like, nah, I'm straight.
And I was just like, no, I'm not. I don't drink. Like, I was really like, I don't drink. You know,
me, it was like I couldn't get sober quick enough anymore. I was like, I ain't doing this no more. Yeah. This hurts. It wouldn't hurt back then. It would be like a bad feeling, but now it hurts. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that no more. And honestly, ever since I stopped, I feel good. Yeah. I'm chilling.
That's good.
And then I took different angles at it. I thought maybe it was just because of how I started thinking. So that's why I did the podcast, so I could help people shift that thought. Because it went from, okay, I like having parties, I like doing this, I like that, but then it became like very vague and dull. So then I shifted my mindset and said, you know what, let me try to help people. Yeah. And then that's where we are today. Yeah. And I'm sure you're on the same way.
I agree. I mean, I think a lot of my work today is to pass it on. You know,
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Pass it on.
Is you know, how am I passing it on is what helps me keep it. You know, so I really do believe that, you know, like that God didn't save me, right? Just to hog it all up and be like, oh, I got this sobriety thing, and I got God.
Let me help other people with my story.
Yeah, now it's exactly like, you know, this is
testimony.
My testimony, and this is, you know, everything that I know exactly all the wrong roads to take. So I can tell you which is to avoid.
Exactly.
You know?
The GPS.
Yeah. So I got all the, you know, this is the way now. And
so how did you go? Okay, so now you pretty much started going to church. You started finding yourself new self-concept, self-awareness, bro. What got you to start the grooming barbershop?
Again, I think that, you know, that feeling inside that I always, one thing that I've always loved, Gene, and I think, you know, I mean, you've known me pretty well, although all the stories are the same, but one thing that I've always loved is to have a place where
it's like a
you guys could grow and I could be a part of that.
Correct.
You know, not only did I want a barbershop, because we both know that it's not the most lucrative, especially during those times. You know, it was more about a place where
it was a haven where we all would go and like
right. So I always had that, you know, like I want to. So again,
recreate.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what, I'm good at this. I've had a good, you know, success with this, you know, and I think God started working in reverse now, you know, and said, okay, I'm gonna give you back everything that was stolen from you, you know, and
you deserve it now, but now it's better and more lucrative.
So then the first miracle that ever happened to me, like that really like just knocked my socks off, was getting Choppers back.
Okay.
Laz and Edgar decided to move from one day to the next without any type of warning. They're like, yo, we're moving the shop. You want to buy this back? And I was like, this is insane. Like, why would they do that? They have a perfectly good shop if they just...
and it's bumping.
Yeah. And I was like, but now I realize, you know, it was because God had that shop for me, you know? And they moved and they did their thing. So
it was like a reset. All right, do it again.
Do it again.
But this time with me.
With God and awesome. Sobriety and, you know, and I was able to go in there and you know, just remodel it and
but this time without all the bad influences.
With you know, started a clean slate, you know, and it was scary because I you know, I still had Mikey in there. I still had Kevin in there, you know, but I was different.
Yeah.
They were the same, but I was different now.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I remember just saying, guys, we're not going to do
the same.
Yeah, we're not going to do the same thing we used to do, you know? So you guys could have your own personal life out of here, but in here, in these 4 walls,
you got to keep it thorough.
We're going to keep it like this. And you know, they did their best. They did their best, you know, and they did their best until, you know, they slowly just went like,
and
hey,
did their own thing.
Yeah, because they couldn't, you know,
see the future or see what you were trying to build.
And unfortunately, exactly, like, you know, I don't want to get too much into Kevin thing, but Kevin, you know, I was able to take Kevin to a few meetings and see him achieve some type of sobriety, which was beautiful at the time, and wish, you know,
I spoke to Kevin a lot of times when he was in that, but you know Kevin, man.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother podcast. But anyhow, we were able to just take off with that name, and then we started the shop, and
you called it Grooming.
And we called it Grooming. That was a name that we had
for the product line, right?
For the product line that me and Orly had kind of been working on, which hadn't taken off or done anything at the time. So I asked Orly, hey, do you mind if I
use this?
If I use this to name the new barbershop?
Of course, he said yeah.
Yeah, he said yeah. He supported me, and opened the shop, named it, and bro, it just again, it started booming again, you know, and just the whole aura started kind of like getting behind it.
Yeah, I could see it, man. I see you have a spa on the top.
So now,
floor.
Make the long story long, we were at the original location, right, which was the blessing, the miracle, where God said,
then across the street.
Here's the thing, and then after being there for a few years, COVID happened, and the salon that was across the street with some old people had it.
Yeah,
they moved on because COVID just destroyed their business. So I was able
to shift and move
across the street, and it's just
huge,
beautiful.
Man. It's big.
Yeah, it's 1,800 square feet. We have upstairs. We have we have a massage like area for massages.
Yeah, that's awesome. I gotta pass by, man. It's just that I don't travel that way anymore. But you guys don't open on Sundays anymore, right?
No. Okay. Monday through Saturday.
Because I go that way to play soccer on Sundays.
I have a cold plunge, but whatever. I'll meet you there. Yeah, the shop is beautiful. I mean, I have a bunch of barbers there, a bunch of talented guys, and yeah, I mean, it just God has kind of surrounded me with a whole new team and a whole new set of guys.
I mean, you have Alex there, you have Edgar.
Yeah, no,
was this Cuban guy? What's his name?
Dennis.
Dennis.
I have Dennis. He's doing amazing.
Gordito, huh?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But I've also gotten a bunch of new guys that I've been able to mentor and teach and show show them everything that we
did in the beginning.
Yes, just like you've been able to do, just
Correct.
kind of guide these younger guys and show them how to build a clientele and how to fill their books up and
give them gems.
Yeah, and they have, they went some of these guys from zero. They're like, oh yeah, I have a clientele, and then
they have like 10 people a day.
Yeah,
maybe
no, yeah, not even. And then you start helping them and coaching them, and now they're cutting hair all day, every day. So it's just cool to see that how we're able to pass on.
Have you thought about expanding, Grooming 2 or Grooming 3?
I am. I mean, we're getting into a place now with this shop where that's
possibility.
Now there's a possibility. Yeah, I think we're busy enough. All the chairs are filled. I had to add a new chair.
Wow.
So I think now we're in a place where that could really be a possibility. Mm-hmm. That I would maybe get one of these guys and maybe
open it up somewhere else in another location.
Them off. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is one day at a time right now. You know, just I'm open. I'm open for
ideas. And
open for whatever God wants. You know,
it's in His hands, right?
It's in His hands right now. Yeah, man. I mean, it's that's the story of this new shop. I walked to Navarro one day. You know, Navarro's across the street, and I was walking by and I saw this huge location. In my head, Javi's idea is like, there's no way I can handle this. You know, this is way too much for me. But I grabbed the doorknob and I said, God, your will be done, not mine.
Wow.
And I walked away. That's it. That was it. And I walked back. There was a number on the window. I called the number. I have the number saved on my phone. The guy was a client of ours.
Oh, wow.
So right there, I was like, all right, God. So I'm like, hey, what's up, Alan? And we start talking, and he tells me numbers.
Like, yeah, don't worry, I got you.
No. He told me, he's like, Javi, I don't think you guys can afford this.
Yeah.
This is a huge undertaking. Plus, you got to remodel the place. I mean, like, he's like, look, give it, like, chill. You know, you're getting over your head.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. You know, and then I call him back a couple of days, and he's like, bro, I got a contract. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I was like, good. I was kind of happy, and I was like, all right, got that off my head, you know. And then he calls me back, and he's like, oh, the contract fell through. And we were back and forth for months on that, you know. But it was our shop. It was our shop the whole time. And, you know, eventually he just goes, hey, come by and see it, and let's talk there. Wow. And we started talking, and we started talking numbers, and I was scared. I was scared because
big numbers,
you know, from going from our little shop. And one of my friends, you know, just kind of coached me through it and gave me, like, you know, made an easier pill to swallow, like crunch the numbers by the day.
You know how you could do it.
Yeah, and then I was like, man, this actually could be something that I could do.
Nice.
And bro, and then we just, you know, I remember signing that lease and giving the deposit. And again, you know, Masi was like just, you know, like supporting my
of course, like she always does.
You know, we were saving for a house again. You know, we're back to that story. You know, we were saving for a house. We had some money put aside, and, you know, we had the kids now, and then, you know, this came up, and I was like, babe, she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, babe, I'm hearing from God. This is not like, I'm not even like, all right, we went to church, message, boom, I'm like, you hear what he's like? It's like, and she's
so with the word, speak the word, yeah, it was messages to you.
Yeah, it was like messages that would touch our heart, you know, like for doing stuff like that, right? For opening ourselves up to a bigger challenge in life, and it became like something that we were like, all right, like
you became confident.
You have to do it because God is saying, do it, you know, and she knew then I was already like walking with God, and she was like, all right, you know, like.
She believes in you.
Yeah, she's like, all right, I've believed in him before. Now he's
doing something
everything
good.
Right. You know, like wow. I really gotta listen to him because it was a big. I don't want to say numbers, but it was a big undertaking at the moment. You know, and we did it, and God showed up, dude. God showed up, and
no, I was proud when I saw it. I was like, yes, bro, how he did it.
It was so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. It's amazing every day. Like I honestly, Gene, like I go in there sometimes and I'm just like, this is ours.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be. Like, again, it was written. All the things we went through was setting us up for what it is now.
Of course, yeah.
So you can't.
No, it is. It's just
make things happen.
It's just amazing, though. It's just amazing how
the energy shift and the mindset and the spirituality and then the harnessing of knowledge of self and creating that self concept to the person you want to be in the future. Because like when I have meetings, I talk to these guys and I'm like, yo, guys, if you could talk to yourself back when you were young, what would you tell them? And everybody's like, oh, I would say stay in school and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then I go, okay, now go in a time machine and go 20 years from now. Yeah. Okay, what is that guy in 20 years from now going to tell you now?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, like the same shit that they would tell themselves. I'm like, yo, just do what you got to do. Yeah, yeah. And then they're like, damn, I never thought of it that way, Gene. I was like, yeah, you know what it is? You never thought. Right. And that's what I'm trying to do with this thing. Right. I'm trying to get people to think. Yeah. And not just like think about what other people think or think about what is right or wrong. Just feel, have that intuition and keep it moving. Yeah. I've done that and it's helped me out. And I'm sure you just said it. You did the same. Yeah. Listen to the intuition, but you have a stronger force that's helping you.
Of course, yeah.
And I believe in what you're saying because I
I mean, it's my story. At the end of the day, it's my story, and it's what I've experienced, and it's you know. I can't deny what I can't deny that I can't deny. You know, like it's happened to me, miracles that I could never imagine or explain. You know that, and not only there's so many cool things that I've experienced, Gene, with just sobriety and and being in that whole.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, yo, how does he have the time? Like, you're boxing, you're cutting. I know that you cut hair all day, every day. And then you're doing all these families. I'm like, yo, how does he find the time? It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know myself. I really don't know. I mean, I think, like I said, it's you know, God opens the way, you know, and
yeah, no, you're walking the line.
Yeah, we're doing it, man, and God has called us to do some cool stuff, and I don't even, you know, it's funny because people have like, oh, you should write a book.
You should.
And I think the good part's about to come.
Oh, wow.
You know, the good part of the book is about to come. So to write it today would really be not a complete book. You know,
I forgot there's a samurai. I think it was one of the last samurais that he did that in his. I forgot the name. Damn, I hate when I forget names.
But I really do feel that
he wrote the book in his deathbed, like at the end, and when he finished it, this is the crazy part of the story. He died the next day.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go that far, but but I really do think the best is yet to come. I really do think that we are
destined.
That we are coming into the best that we've ever experienced. And I think to your point that you keep saying, you know, it's like everything that we've experienced, everything that we've gone through, everything that has happened to us is
for a reason.
Yeah, it's for the reason, and that reason is gonna continue to develop
if we stay righteous,
if we stay in the right
and
path.
we don't sabotage ourselves.
Right, because we are once we take control of the wheel, you know, all bets are off. You know,
all bets are off because we don't know where we're going.
Right. So then I've been, you know, if I continue one day at a time to do what I've been doing, right, which is trusting God, you know, and putting it in His hands and doing His work. And He's continuing to open the doors. I have that verse, Jeremiah 29:11, on the exit of the barbershop.
You see it every day.
See it every day. My plans for you are to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you to prosperous future. And
what made you pick that verse?
It was something that we were praying, and
it hit the spot.
Yeah, it hit, and I have that there because I think that is the truth.
That's your, what is it called? Your war cry?
Yeah, that's the truth. I think the plans, you know, are there, and I think that the future is even brighter. You know, I think again we're just starting. You know, and sometimes, you know, but we're getting a little bit more ripe in age, and I feel so full of energy, dude.
Yeah, but that's because you.
But I don't mean that type.
You've always been that person with energy.
I don't mean that type of energy though. I mean like I feel like full of life in the sense like I want to help people, and I want to, and like just like you're doing this, you know, I just feel like that's part of the awesome part that I think the continuation of our journeys and really be a cool part where we're gonna be able to help a bunch of young kids and help just people in general. Correct. I think we're starting that part of our story, agree. You know, and I think. Agree. It's gonna. I feel it's gonna be pretty cool. You know, the stuff that we're gonna be accomplishing in the near future.
Well, on that note, like if you were able to talk to yourself in the past, what would you tell that young Javi, 18, 19-year-old kid?
Well, I mean, definitely because I was anti-God.
Exactly.
You know, I was anti-God, so I would slap myself.
I wouldn't say it was anti-God.
No, but we were,
because I would never say that you were anti-God. What I would say is that you were. Like a horse when he has like that you're just like running.
Yeah. But I wasn't.
Once this thing opened up, you were like, okay.
I wasn't like letting myself go there. But I would knock myself in the head and be like, hey, don't be so hard headed. You know, like soften your heart for this.
You would hit yourself in the head and say, stop being so hard headed.
Yeah, like dame un cocotazo.
Un cocotazo. All right, so you would tell that young Javi that
to really trust to trust in the God idea.
Okay.
You know, to trust in
and
God.
And if you were able to, like now, you're able to tell whoever's viewing young kids, what would you tell them as far as advice? If they want to be a barber, if they want to be a business owner, or if they just want to be a righteous, God-fearing person?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of it. But you know, I think definitely key things. I'll tell you the key things that are working for me. The simple things that are working for me every day, right? Is wake up and pray on my knees every day. I work hard. I'm an honorable guy, right? Just like you've mentioned. And, you know, I try to do the right thing one day at a time, right? My best of my abilities. I think those simple things, you know, is living life.
Living righteous.
Yeah, and living life one day at a time, right? Not worrying too much about the future, not worrying too much about the past, being in the present, doing the right thing, doing the work that's in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, I think we lose sight of that sometimes. It's like, you know, I'm so worried about the work in the future and opening this 10th shop and doing that I can't even
enjoy the moment.
Enjoy the moment, or even do the work that's right here in front of me. So I think to accomplish big things, you have to be able to do the work.
Yeah, one brick at a time, one step at a time.
Right. So and especially, if you don't have endless funds and you don't have, I think it's even more important.
Correct, because you got to know exactly the move, because that one bad step could set you back a lot.
But all of that, I think tied in with, for me, it's been that God has really just kind of helped be the light to certain things where I've been blessed with connections where there was none.
Yeah, back in the days, you might have a hookup.
Yeah,
but not a real solid.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about things that have come out of where I didn't expect it. So
wow. So that's what you would tell these people: just follow the
I think
day to day.
Yeah, I think
stay focused.
Stay focused. I think prayer, trusting God, and then doing your part. You got to work hard. Like you got to work hard.
You have to. It's not easy.
There's no other. Yeah, it's like God wants to help you, but He helps those that help themselves. And
I was talking to this barber chick that I work with. She's like complaining about that she has to work like all these days, and then I'm like, yeah, that's the job, And then she was complaining about having to work all this time, but then she's also complaining about not having things. And I'm like, yo, why do you think you don't have these funds? Why do you think you don't have these opportunities? Because you're complaining about the thing that can get you there. There's no way. It doesn't work out. It doesn't balance out. And she said, I never thought of it like that, And then she stopped complaining, because I'm like, yo, whatever you speak, you're manifesting. So stop. Like, I don't want to come in here and hear all your
power in the tongue, bro.
Exactly. So hopefully she understands. Hopefully she does what's right. But if you're listening out there, man, whatever you think and speak is definitely going to manifest. So you got to actually shift your mindset, have a self-awareness, self-concept, knowledge yourself, and then you speak the truth, and then it becomes real.
Yeah. One thing I tell a lot of the barbers is, like, like in the barber, excuse me, like, you got to be at the shop.
Yeah.
You got to cut hair. You got to be there.
The best thing to do is be available.
It's be available, right? You want to build.
You want to come in 5 to 10 or whatever schedule you got, and you want to do as many cuts as possible. Like, that's not the way it works.
Right. So yeah, just being at the barbershop advice is that you got to be there.
Got to be there, like a plant.
You got to be there, right.
All right. So like, I usually have a few questions at the end of the podcast. You know the movie Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
You know that part when he asked Sonny, "Would you rather be loved or feared?" Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Would you want to know the answer for me? Would I rather be loved or feared? I'd say loved.
Okay.
I'd say loved over fear. I mean, I'm for being a fighter and for being all of that, I think there's a big thing, where this is a word that, is meekness,
okay,
is strength under control.
Yeah, that's the real strength.
I don't want to be somebody that people fears, but that people.
But if it gets down to it, is
no. But I don't. I mean, again, I have all the skill sets to be a person that could be feared, but I'd rather be loved.
All right, all right. And the next question: wealth or riches?
I want wealth. And I mean, again, for me, it's different because of my perspective with my belief in God and in Christ. It's kingdom for me, it's not what's here and now for me, I'm building a mansion in heaven.
Oh, I love that.
So awesome. For me, it's not about what I'm, and not only that, for me, it's legacy.
Oh, awesome.
It's legacy. So it's not about my kids. It's about I'm building a future for my kids' kids.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
something that
it's not about money. It's not about money.
Exactly.
I'm breaking chains, Gene. I really truly do believe that I'm breaking chains in my life and in my family's life.
I've seen it, especially with your father.
My father's sober.
Wow.
My father's sober. My father's, saved by Christ. My sister, we're breaking chains, generational chains, bro. It's not.
It started from you. That's amazing.
And God used me, right? Just God used me to start the process, but I believe that we're doing that for generations. So that's, the answer.
No, I see it. I see it in the kids. I see that. I see everything. Everything is like love and joy, and it's progression. Yeah. It's awesome. Okay, perception or reality?
A reality.
Yeah? Why is that?
I mean, because perception could always be deceiving, Like people could always think whatever of the perception of me could be whatever.
Like we were saying, we had a perception that wasn't right.
Yeah,
and we were living a wrong life.
They don't know me, right? Until they know me. They know me maybe here, but hang out with me and know the reality of. Because I could say all of this stuff here.
Yeah, you could perceive to be somebody or not, but the reality is.
But the reality is right. So I always shoot. I'll definitely shoot for reality.
Okay, and you said it knowing. So knowing or understanding.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Knowing or understanding.
Yeah, I really don't know anything, but God has given.
Damn, that's so amazing.
But God has given me a lot of understanding.
Dude, you said it right. I say that on a podcast. All I know is that we don't know.
No, we don't know.
And if you think you know, I know you don't know.
Because I think God has given me a little bit of understanding.
But do you really know?
No, I don't know anything. What I know more than ever today is that I don't know anything.
That's exactly the knowledge that we need to know. Like, I don't know. So I don't believe in everything or anything, but I also don't not believe.
Yeah, because the thing is that a lot of what I knew to be true and be like, this is it, like this is how you do it. This is you gotta hustle and you gotta
wrong perception.
Yeah, so I was off.
All right. And the other one is joy or happiness.
Joy.
Okay. Yeah. Why is that?
I'm happy. Happiness comes and goes. Happiness is not. Happiness is it. You could be happy 1 second and it'll be gone. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Joy is something that lasts.
Yeah, it's like a memory base that stays with you.
It's something that.
All right. Yeah. And then the last question is, what do you think about the term "good problems"?
I definitely have high quality problems. I've said that. The phrase before.
I have high quality problems.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I have problems where I didn't have areas.
Okay, what's that?
I didn't have a big barbershop that.
Oh, and now you have a big bar, so you have big barbershop problems.
Yeah, you have big. So, yeah. That's just a funny one though. Because.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So good problems. Okay. Yeah, that was it, brother. I appreciate you coming into the podcast. We could be here forever talking. We'll bring it back when you do expand, and I want to hear about that whole story. Yeah. But I want you to tell people, man, something you want them to know about you, and then I also want you to let them know where to find you, talk about the shop, and then let everybody know what's next.
Yeah, my Instagram, Javi Cuts You. The barbershop Instagram is Groom and Barbershop and Spa. You guys can, just kind of follow us on there and see what's, going on with us. And now, man, same thing. I'm grateful to be here, man. I'm spend a little time with you. It's been a few years since we've caught up.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's been like 8 years. Since we really chopped it up.
Yeah, but I think, if I could say anything that could help people is that I'm available.
Correct.
I'm available today. DM me or call me. I'm available for help. I can help guide people into any of these stories that we've talked today. May it be business, barbershop. I'm not a business expert, but we've opened and closed.
You're a life expert.
We've opened and closed a couple barbershops. So we have a little bit of experience in that area. So if anybody that's starting their journey in being a barbershop owner or any of that, I'm available for conversation and sobriety or, anything of that sort. And that's
the hard
part. My life right now,
No, it's a beautiful life, man. And I congratulate you on it. And I feel proud when I look at your stories and I know the story. So, and I know it really well. So it's kind of like, damn, okay. God is working through Javi. It's cool. And I appreciate you coming, Javi.
Thank you, man.
And I wish you the best, man. And if you ever need anything or call on me, I'll be there, bro.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. Same.
All right. Guys, live, love, laugh, and live righteous. Peace.